One. What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of ArmTalk. I am your host, Jody Williams, and today, welcome back, Mr. Steve Fernandez. Steve, what's going on, sir?
Hey, man. Thank you so much for having me back, man. I appreciate it.
Well, I had to have you back because, check it out, we were on this show. Matter of fact, this is your third time in about 3 weeks I've had you on the show.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, the event that just took place over the weekend, the Country Folk versus City Slickers, and, you know, I'm going to be honest with you, man. It was hard not to notice you guys because, you know, you guys have been promoting it. Boom, 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 boom. You said, hey, I got a squad going. We're going to get together as a group. We're going to travel together as a group. Hotel, red carpet, having a good time, all that kind of good stuff. And I'm thinking it was hard because how many times did I ask that question to you or somebody else and go, hey, man, who's on the Country Folk team? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And, you know, you guys, you know, put a showing out there. But I got to ask you a question. It was one of the things you told me last week on the show when I had Maddie on. And you had said that, hey, there's some rules about this team when you guys travel. And one of the rules was like, hey, to make sure everybody gets an opportunity, if you win your match, you still stay for the next round. Mm-hmm. If you lose your match, then you may have to go to the back of the line and give somebody else an opportunity, but you can earn your way back on the team. Is that still true?
Yeah, that's still true. That's still the way it's going. I told the guys that I don't want to say lost their position, but their position is in jeopardy right now, which is Sam Mitchell and Jason Ciardi and a couple other guys too as well. Jason Ciardi is fighting for his chance to come back on the team up against, I think, Zach Lee. And he's going to be pulling him at the Battle of the Tri-State next year in February. Okay. And and same thing, vice versa. Jason Ciardi, I'm going to talk to – now these guys don't know yet, but I talked to Wade Roberts before to see if he wanted to come on the team and everything else, but some stuff happened. So we have another one. Jason Ciardi would be going up against either Wade Robert or Flip for the other side, on a super match. So whoever wins after Wade Roberts up against Flip at the end of November 27th, Jason Ciardi would be taking them on, and whoever wins from that group would be going against again on the trip.
So let me get this straight. If I'm seeing this, if I'm wrong, please correct me.
Mm-hmm.
So from what I get out of this is that you guys got qualifying matches too.
Absolutely. So the qualifying matches are going to be whoever wins would be coming back on the team. They buy themselves back on the team. And, pretty much they have to fight for their chance to be on the team. I already spoke to Jason about this. He said, I'm in already. So he thinks that he's got this already taken. That he's going to be right back on the team. And Sam's got his hands full. He's going up against Zach, and Zach's actually ranked, I think, one or two notches above Sam. So Sam's putting a lot in to take this. And I still have to talk to Zach to still see if he wants to be on the team and take the trip down to Florida. So if everything goes good the way it's supposed to, then, everything should be good.
And we'll get to that in a second about Florida, because I think Mr. Swartz already mentioned that in one of my posts. But so with this being said, and tell me something, Steve, because when you have something as great as that, sometimes the first time for everything, you kind of sit back and kind of go, okay, it's interesting. Let me see how it goes. And then people see the event. And now the event, they saw it. It's gone. And now you're getting phone calls going. Hey, Steve, what's up, man? It's Jody. Hey, man, I love the event. So how can I get on the hold on for a sec? Yeah, I'm talking to him now. So how can I get on the team? You got people like that, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's already signed up. Yep. I got the calls literally while we were out there. I was getting calls, man, and people were actually messaging and saying, I should have went. I'm sorry I couldn't go, but I really want to be on the next one. Like, they're already lined up to be on the next event. They already seen what it was all about between the party bus, the mansion, the jacuzzi, the fire pit, the everything in the whole nine, the hot springs, so they seen what type of event we're putting on. The other thing is too, is that we're teaming up with Robert Kelly.
Yeah.
He's actually he did the Challenger Series. He did the East vs. West 14. So he's on a higher level grade of production that we even had just now. So now this is going to be a step above of what just happened over at Montana.
Right. So, and let's talk about it because the cat's out of the bag. I was going to ask you where you're going, but I think Daniel Swartz already said something, and you just did too. So how do y'all pick what's team you're gonna or team or state? How do you guys choose that ahead of time, or how does that work out?
So we're looking for guys in Florida. I'm thinking if maybe because I'm actually right after this podcast, I'm actually going on another podcast with Mikey Olivia and Ryan Grondin at 7:00, and then I have another podcast that's
There
going to be
you
right
go.
after there.
What's up, my boys?
Yep. Right after there's another podcast with Paul Italia around 9:30 tonight again. So
Damn.
it's just been lining up. Everything's been lining up the way it's supposed to. And so grateful, for all these guys that have me on their podcast and everything like that. And I'm hoping, and I'm thinking to maybe ask Mikey to see if he wants to do something. Me, him, Sarah, and put something together and see if we could do something in Florida.
Listen, man, do you understand the magnitude of what this is? Did you just hear what you said? Hey, everybody in the chat, did you just hear what Steve said? Do you guys understand what's going on? So here, you're on my show right now, ArmTalk. After that, you're getting on there with Ryan Grondin and Mikey. After that, you got Paul Italia. Yeah, it's Whopper Wednesday. Yeah, so Paul Italia's on live today. Do you understand how big this is? Because, my man, you got 3 interviews or shows in one day back to back to back, right? And I'm kind of going, all right, man, that's how big this thing is. Do you understand how big this might be?
Yeah, I get it, and I'm starting to understand like how big I wanted it to be. And I said this from the beginning. You remember I was saying this, Jody, from the beginning. This is going to be bigger than what people think when they see the show, when they catch that vibe of being around everybody in a house. Now, the thing is, I'm trying to twist this in a little bit better of a way, and a little bit more of a show. So the mansion's going to stay. I'm thinking about getting even a bigger mansion this time, really big, and thinking of maybe bringing on their team in the mansion. So maybe we have both teams in one mansion and do a really reality show, a little bit more than just from what it was before, and really bring the 2 teams together and have them see what happens, see the type of vibe they have, see if they get along, knowing that they're going to, and honestly, having 2 different training spaces for both of them. So they don't have to really release anything that they're going to do to any of their competitors and be able to, be in one space to train and one space to the other, but in general, live in the same house, try to get along. And if not, the drama, it is what it is, but in general, that's what I'm seeing, is to see what I can try to do that.
First question of the show. Here we go. Mr. Nathan Williamson says the event was a success, in my opinion, but my only gripe is with the inconsistencies in the reffing. Has there been talks of bringing in some high-level referees in North America to be head refs of those events?
See, now, I think the reffing went well. The only thing that I had a discrepancy on was the elbow hops. That will not be allowed anymore. It'll be a strict maybe we'll do running fouls, but I really just want to do a strict elbow on the table, no hops or anything like that. I think there was the discrepancy. And I think Ray did an absolutely phenomenal job reffing and did what he needed to do. I don't see anything wrong with that. Brian Parliament, he's a newer ref, about 2 years in the game for reffing, but I think he did a good job too as well. So I don't see anything that was really wrong with the reffing. Some people say that there was. Some people are saying, but you can't make everyone happy. I don't know if you heard the show, but I was screaming at the top of my lungs, making sure that everybody was doing what they're supposed to. Everybody was lined up, center at the table, no elbow fouls or anything like that. If there were, they call for a replay. So I saw as much as I needed to see to be able to, say that they did a good job.
Right. And, and like I said, going forward. So now you're taking your show to South Florida or Florida. Don't know what city yet, but you're going down there. And I'm going to tell you, now this is no shade on Montana or the country folk they had there. Okay. They got some badass pullers. You know that firsthand. Mm-hmm. However, Montana, do not take this out of context, but the boys in Florida are going to present a lot tougher challenge than the guys in the Montana area. I think you had, Lynn Houghton from Canada. He was on that team. But I'm telling you right now, Florida's going to, unleash a bunch of they got some beasts down there. So I'm telling you, they're going to have a whole new set of problems for y'all from a challenge standpoint than Montana did. So how do y'all feel about that?
So the majority of the guys from Montana were actually from Canada and Washington. and they had
Yes.
some guys from Montana, which was good. But in general, we didn't. I don't want to say we didn't have the best of the best. We had a good group of guys, but I still have Steve Walker, here. I still have Paul Cruz here, and all these guys weren't able to go because of the World Series and everything else like that of arm wrestling. So they ended up going. Paul ended up going there. But
Right.
in general, I already talked to Paul. Paul is already telling me send me the dates so he can lock in for us. Steve Walker already said I'm in.
Right.
So these guys are, I don't want to say on a higher scale, but if I drop down, and Ben at the time when he pulled him at 234. I could put Ben at 230, put Paul at 240, and put Steve Walker at 243 plus. So, these guys, that's a stacked fucking class. You know what I mean? And I had Ben as my heavyweight and we still won. You know what I mean? So that tells you that much right there. You know what I mean?
So what are the weight classes anyway? Just so I can kind
So
of
they're every 10 pounds. So it's 154, 165, 176, 187, 198, so it's going up 209, 220, 231, 240. So it goes up every 10 pounds.
Gotcha. Okay. I just want to make sure because I was like, that's the one thing I didn't put 2 and 2 together because, I don't understand it started with the lighter guys and it kind of went up. But I was trying to figure out like the weight difference and all that kind of stuff. Is there a catch weight? Do they have to meet at a certain weight? Like, what are the rules as far as that goes?
So as far as that goes for the City Slickers for New York Tri-State Arm Wrestling, it's going to be you're at 154. You have 3-pound clothing allowance, so you're allowed to 57.8 is the most that you can weigh.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have that 3-pound clothing allowance that you have, so you're allowed to weigh just a little bit more.
Nice. Okay, I understand that. And that's good because I'm telling you, man, just watching that kind of going, okay. So let's cut through the chase. Let's talk about the MVP in my opinion. How that went. There are some good matches now. I'm not knocking any other matches, but I want to talk about the last match because the way that whole thing set up. Okay, hey, City Slickers won, Country Folk won. You guys are tied up. We got one match left. I mean, it was more than one. I think it was like what 5-5 going into the tiebreaker.
5-5 going to the tiebreaker.
5-5 going to the tiebreaker, and it came down to the ladies, both world champions, going, okay, both of them was on the show with you and I here last week. Here we are. And I said, don't sleep on this match. I sat there and told everybody, hey, man, this should be the main event. And damn it, if I wasn't right, I don't know what was. It lined out perfectly. Now, the buildup was there. However, it went a little one-sided. I was surprised how the match went, right? I mean, for me, I'm just excited for the match. I didn't really pick who was going to win, but when I saw the match, I was like, damn. Okay. Maddie. What'd they call her? Mad Maddie? Is that what they called her?
Mad Maddie or the Mad One?
Yeah. So, and she was like, I don't really like that name. Sister, 3-0, whitewash, done. Thanks for coming. Like, seriously, the way she won was just like dominating. And I was just like, and I've seen Maddie pull before in person, but it was like 3 years ago, at the Worlds. And, I haven't seen her in person pull since. And to see that, I'm kind of going, damn, that's like super duper. Where do you see her at now going forward?
So I want to bring her into a little bit of a higher level, not to throw anything on Jolene Anderson. She is a high level better. She's a world champion, but there are better pullers than her. And I want to make sure that Maddie gets exposure that she's supposed to get, because honestly, she's a great puller. People are completely underestimating her until they grab her. She's got a 21-inch bicep. She had the biggest bicep of the team. And it's not because she's a bigger girl. Her other bicep was 15 inches. That's a big difference. We're talking about a 21-inch bicep to a 15-inch bicep. Obviously, she's got it. She's doing what she needs to do on her right arm. Not only that, but her hand. Her hand is ridiculously strong. I don't think anybody knows how strong her hand is. You know what I mean? So
she's a walker. I think that kind of says it all right there.
she's a mini Steve, honestly. I know she doesn't like to really hear that sometimes, but she's a mini Steve. She pulls like him, everything like him. Her body, the way she brings it down just like him. She's a mini Steve, man, and she's a problem. She's a problem with a lot of these girls, and she's underestimated, and she's gonna be a problem until people start realizing they're like, damn, like they just don't want to pull her because they realize how good she is. So. But I give Jolene a lot of props to stepping up to the plate and doing what she needed to do, But like I said, I had my money on Maddie the whole time.
So here's a question. I got some comments, regarding this question. So Frederick says most of the matchups seem off. Also, would like to see Madison Walker pull someone her own weight. Now, we don't talk about women's weight on here, but I'm assuming somebody that's not super duper lighter.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of women I know I like to see her match up against, like Paige Williams. She just recently left out of Canada. That's another one. Like, okay, where do you start? We're not going to say Sarah Bachman. We're not going to talk about Josh Brisson in Canada. That's ways away. Yeah, but the two ladies I just mentioned, legit. Paige Williams, legit person. Sarah Wilson, another legit person. But then you got to find somebody in Florida. You know what I'm saying? So, and we all know, with women arm wrestling in the women's division, it's few and far between. So, it's one thing, and Jolene, Utah ain't that far from Montana, so she could travel up there. Now you got to figure out, okay, Maddie, we got to find you somebody for this Florida event. Now, who do you grab to have come down to represent Florida in order to pull Maddie? I guess is where I'm going.
So we're going to do the same thing like we did with Montana, vice versa, to really set off, like, it's not going to be just Florida. It could be other states around it, just like we're doing with the tri-state, New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, just like they did not only Montana, but they did Canada, Washington, Utah. So they grabbed from other states nearby as close as they could, you know what I mean? And vice versa. That's exactly what we'll do with Florida. So they can grab somebody nearby, so we can get somebody as closest to Florida as possible.
And I get that. And here's, Jimmy goes, Madison versus Sarah Wilson would be good. I'm just like I'm just picking a name out of the sky, with that.
Yeah.
But, is my audio messing up? The Drew's 24 said audio is messing up. If my audio is messing up, I apologize.
I'll tell you if you're bad, but everything sounds clear.
Okay. So now you got a lot of groundwork ahead of you, man. Like after this one event, you can only relish in it for a couple of days. And then, like, bam, you got to get back on the horn. Like, all right, I got to prepare for the next one. Do you have a date set for the next event?
What we're thinking right now is going to be in May or June, around there, just so we have enough time to prepare, get everything all set, get everything ready. We're going to get some contracts written up, to make sure that pullers don't pull 30 days prior to the event, because in this time I had two pullers that were – one that I think was hurt and still wanted to pull and then practice and felt like it just wasn't healing up. And the other one actually pulled, hurt themselves at a tournament, and then wasn't able to pull at the super match. So we're going to be writing some stuff up to make sure that everyone's going to have to be available, whatever it is, 30 or 60 days, whatever it is, prior to, getting to the super match. So we don't have any kind of problems like that. And same thing, so everybody can see the event and how everything went. And the amount of people that want to be on the show now is in comparison to what I thought was going to be. But everybody that asked before already just came back and said, hey, I definitely want to be on the next one.
Well, yeah, when you win, it kind of makes that easier. You kind of like, so right. Without, putting the cart in front of the horse, if you're already on the original, the first ever edition of this and you won, you're pretty much going, okay, you're safe. It's the guys that like got to earn their way back. Like, okay, here's your qualifying match. Here's your wild card match to get on the team. And it's like going, okay, cool. And Eric Anderson, I'm going to get to your comment in a second. I haven't forgot it. And it's like, I see that kind of go, damn, man. I mean, that's big. Like, you have no time to rest at all, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is big time. So I'm going to get to Eric Anderson's question. He goes, the video for the stuff in the mansion and in the vehicles were very tough to follow and was shaky. Will this be improving for the next time?
Yes, absolutely. We'll have a better film crew that's going to be able to – we're going to have cameras actually set up and different spots of the house. And the filming, what happened is that we bought the cameras. I bought the cameras. We had about 3 or 4 of them. The cameras didn't match up to whatever we needed them to do in order to work on Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And the setup just didn't look – it wasn't good for what it needed to connect to with the computer. And that was my fault. So what we had to do is set up different cameras pretty much and live stream as much as we could, and then set up a live stream for 2 or 3 different spots in the mansion. And it will be a lot better next time. And the interviews will be a lot more, I'd say 3-dimensional. So you'll have one camera that's going to be facing on me, another camera is going to be facing on the competitor, and another camera that's going to be facing on both of us.
Right. Now, I'll say this, because for me, what stuck out most is the camaraderie. You know, I saw the video, I saw some of the pictures and stuff, and just all y'all having a good time and stuff. But when it's time for the event, game faces were on, and it was like, all right, when y'all are walking down the aisle, whatnot, you know, down the steps, through the aisle, and all of a sudden the whole team was on the. It was weird because I like the setup. When y'all walking down the aisle, you had City Slickers on the right-hand side, Country Folk on the left-hand side. You guys are high-fiving each other and stuff as you walk down. You know, you had your guys in your corner, guys and girls cheering you on. Even your significant others were there cheering you guys on. And I can't, you know, say enough that the camaraderie was dead on. It was awesome. And that was one of the things I appreciate. I don't know if everybody else, you know, realized that, but that was one of the things I liked.
Yeah, it's definitely it was definitely a good production. That's just about it. It was just about the production was really good. That's why we're going to do it a little bit better next time. And it's going to be pretty much like the same type of setup. Is it 1 or 2? Okay. And it's going to be a little bit different, a little bit better, you know, because you can always improve with time. That's really what it is. You know what I mean? So that's exactly what we're going to do. It's going to be, I would say, the same type of way. The only difference is going to be with the camera setup is going to be a little bit better. I don't know if you saw East versus West 14, but it's going to be a little bit like that, like into the crowd and stuff. So it's not going to be just only specific on just the pullers, but it's going to be on the crowd too as well. So you can, because East versus West 14 was amazing. You know, the way they had all the crowd and everything like that was there. That's kind of what we want too. You want to be able to get that crowd in and get them involved and everything like that. And that's, I think that's one of the most important things. Just like you said, though, to be able to have that type of production, have them walk out, cheer you on, and everything else. That's, you know, that's what we want to do too as well. But we want to involve the the crowd a little bit more, just like they did, you know, just like Robert Kelly did when he was at East versus West 14, and he filmed kind of the crowd, you know, so they can see exactly how many people there, who's cheering on, and everything else. That's so important because you want to be a part of that moment, you know, and if you see yourself there, part of that moment. When I saw myself there, you know, when Brzezinski was pulling and everything else, yeah, I was there. I was in tears, man. There live after he pulled, it was probably one of the most emotional moments that I had. That's the type of stuff that people need to grab and see how much love and care and people want this sport to succeed. I mean, that's the most important thing that I think. I mean, when you see that type of stuff, the emotion in people, the grit in people, the want, you know, the work, that's, I mean, that's what's like Maddie, you know what I mean? I was trying not to shed a tear at the end, but she hugs me and thank you so much, Steve, and everything else. And it's just, you know, I can't do nothing but, you know, but start bawling because, you know, she's just like a little sister to me, man. You know, just seeing her, what she's doing and how good she's doing it and bringing her up, you know, notch by notch by notch is just, you know, it brings me to tears, you know, and I'm really good family, you know, really good friends with the whole family, you know, with Tracy, Devin, you know, Steve, you know, so Steve refs at every single one of my matches and he pulls at every single one of my. Tracy, she does the brackets at every single one of my matches. Devin, she helps out every single time I have problems with the computers at my matches, you know. Right. So the whole family, we're very, very close, you know what I mean? So I appreciate her for being on there, you know, and she'll always be one of my favorite pullers, always.
Awesome. Now, everything on the surface was good, and I saw, you know, the elbow hop, you know, and like I said, here's the thing, and, you know, and you can respond how you want with this. One, you know, it's your first event. The second event will be better than the first. Your third event will be better than the second. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Oh, yeah, of course.
You're going to improve. So we got a question here, and I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but Jimmy says, M-Spot guy said you guys were hard to work with. Is this to say, is the feeling mutual? Also wondering why the issues couldn't have been talked about between all parties privately instead of on podcast. Unless I'm missing something, I never heard anything on a podcast about this negativity. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something.
So yeah, there was really hard things to work with them about. I mean, a lot of things were said that they were going to do that wasn't done. In specific, we were talked about a lot of things, and when we wanted to talk about them again because we were getting closer to the dates, all of a sudden, there's no stuff that we needed. You know what I mean, that we talked about before. You know what I mean? So and that's what was a little bit, they canceled the show, and then they put it back on afterwards because I had to talk to them. They were making a really big deal out of somebody call them. My team called them lip-tards, and I told them, don't ever say anything like that again. And it wasn't even said it specifically to them. He was just saying it in general. They took it personally, and things got a little bit out of hand. But in general, it was if you'd ask me, if I'd ever work with them again, I would never work with them again.
Well, I mean, that's unfortunate because, I mean, like I said, from the surface, it seemed like you guys put on a hell of an event, and it's unfortunate it won't be like that. But then again, what you're doing is like we're going to go from state to state to state. So you do what you do, hop on the bus, move to the next one. So, I mean, and I get all that. So also, Jimmy Nones wants to know, was there a ref meeting with the refs and all the competitors discussing all the rules in advance?
Yes, there was. In the beginning, there was something that they said that they were having the announcers, the guys who are doing the commentary, they were going to make that last decision because they can see the cameras and the views better and everything else. And that was a big problem for me because that doesn't make any sense. The refs are there to make the calls, plain and simple. Right. Whether you're a down ref or a head ref, those are the guys that make the calls. And then afterwards, they said that, they're all going to make the calls, just the refs and everything like that. There was, they said small little elbow hops, but, I wasn't really comfortable with that, but it is what it is. That's the way they wanted to call the rules. I'll never do that again. Any other thing, it wouldn't be elbow hops because how big is an elbow hop? How large is a small little elbow hop? You know what I mean?
For me, it depends on if you gain advantage. If you elbow hop to gain advantage, that's an issue for me.
Well, if you're like this, right, already, and you're elbow hopping, you're doing something to turn your elbow to make, you know what I mean? So it's just, I'll never do that again. One of the matches I was really upset on was Sam Mitchell. I think it could have gone either way. It was a big problem with the elbow hops on that match. And they had to review it before they can review it. They called somebody up to have them, one of the commentators, to talk to Hunter Bratton, and he was like, "Oh, how did you win?" I'm sitting there going, "Would we stop this right now?" I'm like, "Review it, replay it." His elbow hop was over an inch. What are we doing here?
Right.
And then they finally replayed it. When they replayed it, they saw it. Everybody saw it, that elbow came off way off the pad.
Right.
They redid it again. It was 3-0 when they were going to do it, so they redid it again. It was an elbow. There was a second elbow foul, so that was 3-1. Sam went in for a press, 3-2. So Sam was setting up, I think, to go into a hook instead of a press this time, and he took his hand, and I think he lost 3-1 or something like that.
Right.
But in general, I just I think it would have been a little bit different. No more elbow hops or nothing like that. Strict rules, elbow on the pad, straight to the pin. That's the only thing that I would say that I would change probably about the whole thing. The reffing was good. I've had Ray at every single one of my tournaments. I've had him at every single one of my super matches, and he's been great. I wouldn't change anything about Ray. I like the way he does. He takes care of everyone. He lines everyone up. He's fair on both parts, and that's what I like to see. I don't like to anybody have an advantage on anybody else, and I think they did a good job. I think Brian did a good job too. Brian Parliament. So he did a good job too. So I don't see any problem with the reffing or anything like that. Could we get better refs? I'm sure a couple more experienced refs that we can have on the show probably, if we do in New York and they don't bring a ref over, then I'll use another ref, out there, which I have a bunch that I can use, Chuck Bardo, Mike Bisman, Ron Aconda, a bunch of refs that we can use,
Right. And going forward with the refs, they're human people, they're going to make mistakes like that. But I got a question, because just in case this happens down the line, because you said with the ref rules meeting whatnot, hey, what the ref says, go. Now, let's just play devil's advocate for a second. I'm going to assume, Steve, that you're the captain of the team, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's just say there's a situation where one of your athletes, they feel like, hey, man, he's already carved in, or, hey, they got away with a false start and stuff. At what point do you, as a captain of the team, step in and go, hey, this is not okay because I saw this, that, do you kind of be that voice for the team?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. I was doing that the whole time. My whole team knew that I was there 100% of the time to fight for them. I was calling elbows. He's carving in. They're not in the center of the table. I was telling my guy, raise your hand. So anything and everything that needed to be said, to make sure, your shoulders are still to center of the table, crossing the center of the table. You know what I mean? Set him up, put his shoulder center. So anything I needed to say was there. All my guys were there. They know that it was 100%. I had to fight for Sam to get his replay, which he did. He got his replay. And they went right back to the table and they did it all over again. So, yeah, I would say anything that needs to be said, I say as much as I could. You know what I mean?
Right.
There was times that they didn't want to replay it, which was one of the Sam's last losses. And I thought the elbow was over too as well, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Got it. Chrissy Rudolph says Chuck Barlow is a good ref. So if by chance, you guys get stuck in a pickle, I'm sure Chuck's like, hey, man, just give me a holler, man. I'm there for y'all. So, I always think that, referees don't get the benefit of the doubt sometimes because without a ref, you ain't got no match. That's just how I look at it,
Absolutely.
Well, you don't. That's just the bottom line, Also, Chrissy says, elbow bobbles is never a good idea to leave onto interpretation. So
I agree.
And I get that because at what point do you draw a line where like, well, it's just a little bit, but then a little bit from here goes a little bit there. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, if you just eliminate it altogether, then you ain't got to worry about that. There is no, like, well, was it a touchdown? Was it not? Okay, now you're breaking everything down, and I don't know if you're a football fan, but I'm a Steeler fan living out in the Pacific Northwest, and I'm watching the Giants and Steeler game, and my man caught a touchdown, and because the rule says as long as you get 2 feet in, he just happened to get 2 feet, but it was the same foot in before he went out of bounds as he caught the touchdown. Now you're just breaking everything down way too much.
Yep.
Like, come on, man. 10 years ago, it was a touchdown. Now all of a sudden you're breaking things down. So I'm going to use that example going to the elbow fouls. Like, okay, you bobble, it was an elbow foul. Then it went to like, well, if you bobble but you don't gain position, it's fine. If you gain position, then we'll call it. Don't break everything down to it. If the elbow comes up, foul, end of it.
Yep.
Or, you could say, hey, we'll do running fouls.
Running fouls, right.
Again, the elbow is a little different because it's one thing if you come off the pad, right, on the front, back, side or whatever. Mm-hmm. But when you go like that, you're gaining some kind of height and momentum.
Absolutely. You get over on it. To get, even if you're hopping a little bit, you're getting that extra. If you're doing, let's just say a half an inch, I'm half an inch over on you. That much. It's me. It's going half an inch is that much. That means I have that much of a turnover on you.
And we all know a half an inch is miles in this sport of arm wrestling.
Goddamn right. You got
miles.
If you start like this, just give me half an inch then. Give me half an inch every single time like this. See how much you crack your arm back every single time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just,
It's so micromanaged that it's like, okay, let's not overlook two things. Let's keep things simple, Keep it simple, straighten. When I say go, you could do whatever the hell you want after that within the rules. But, it's no different. Like, okay, how about this? And tell them this is wrong. So let me get your opinion. As Deborah Gibson says, Chuck is not a good ref. Ha, 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 ha. But check this out. We all know, get to the table, even Steven, you close up. Is this a disadvantage?
I would say, yeah, because your hand's not straight.
Is that a disadvantage?
Yeah, you're cracking your wrist back, of course.
So I mean, if you and I are straightened up, right, and my wrist goes like that, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna crack your wrist back. I'm gonna top roll the shit out of you.
However, if I'm a flop wrist presser, my shoulder's already locked and loaded. Ain't that cheating too, though?
Well, that's different. I'm a flop presser, so
you see what I'm saying, though, right?
I get it 100%. I get it 100%.
Yeah, so like it's no different. And when you break everything down, there's always little odds and ends and tweaks and stuff because any top roller gets this, you're like going up. You feel like, all right, I got you no matter what, and you're probably thinking, what the hell? But then in reverse, if my wrist is like that, I'm a flop wrist presser. That top roller is going to say, oh yeah, I got you, and the flop wrist is going, bro, I'm already here. You do what you think you need to do. I already got my shoulder already lined up. I'm already here. All I got to do is just go through you like that. So, again, when you break everything down like that, and I know I'm kind of getting off base here with this, but You get what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, it's just making sure everything is even. Steven, like I said, once the ref says go, do what you want within the rules is where I'm getting at, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that man, so is it still going to be the same? Now there are 6 matches, right?
There was 11 matches.
Okay, 11. Okay, cool. So are you still going to have the same amount of athletes on your team when y'all go make that trip to Florida?
Yeah.
Okay. So how many spots do you have vacant? Let's put it that way. The ones who won, Maddie, Nightmare. Who's the Russian dude that was just whooping everyone's ass?
Lad. He's on the team at 209 solid.
So when you got those people they already punched their ticket to the next one, and then you got how many open spots do you have after that?
We have Sam. Sam's got to do his super match, see what happens if Zach Lee's open to it, to take his spot. Jason Ciardi's spot is open. I'm thinking Paul Cruz is 100% on his to take his at 240, 243 plus. If Steve is 100% that he wants to go, that's going to be taken too.
So will Paul be taking Roger Learn's spot then, or what?
So Roger Learn's spot is going. He's losing weight. He's going down to 220. So he's out of 240. He's out of 230. He's going down to 220.
Okay.
Yeah. So he did lose a spot. If he wants to pull, he would have to pull at 220. We have a 230 puller, which is going to be Ciappoli, Ben Ciappoli, who just beat Len. And then Paul is solid at 240 right now. So I think Paul would be really good at 240. 243 plus would be Steve.
And Ben can go to 230 or 231. What is that?
31.
231. Okay, so damn. Think about that for a second, y'all. Everybody in the chat, think about that. Ben, 231. Paul Cruz, was it? You said 240?
Mm-hmm.
And then Big Steve Walker, damn. That's a solid group. And then all of a sudden, Maddie's on the team. So you got the Walker families in full force, right? So that's scary. Vlad at 209, that is freaking scary, So when you think about it, you go to Florida, it don't look as bad as it once was because now you still had guys who couldn't make this trip is going to make the next trip.
Exactly.
So now I see why you're smiling now. Okay, if that same squad goes, man, y'all might run into some studs. But knowing what I know now, what you just explained, I get it now. We could just shuffle. Hey, can you stay at this weight class? Hey, can you drop? Because I got some ideas. If we're going to do this for the team, sacrifice for the team, we got this. I'm telling you, I get it now. I get it. Totally get it.
Yep. And I count on these guys to keep their places, to keep their positions. If they're good enough, they'll stay where they need to stay and they'll keep on winning. And if they don't, I'll pick somebody else that'll come on the team and they can buy themselves back into the team if they want a super match with the one I picked. And if she has to take the super match now, whoever I picked to come on the team has to take the super match, whoever they lost, if they want to come back on the team. Because I want to see too, if I made the right decision on picking the better person. You know what I mean? And if
what do you mean by buy your way back on the team? What does that mean exactly?
So what you do is pretty much you're putting up $100 to see if you can beat them to come back on the team. You know what I mean? You're betting them the money to come back on the team.
Okay.
Now, let's just say, like Jason Ciardi, he lost. He's off the team. He pays $100 to come back on the team. That goes obviously to traveling expenses to what we do. You know what I mean? And I'm sure the guys understand and know with the amount of money that was spent on this trip and everything, it's well worth it. I mean, everybody's seen what we do, what I did, and took them everywhere to the hot springs, food every time. It was a beautiful place, man. The mansion, and this place now is going to be even bigger. Filming crew is going to be even better, so everything's just going to get a lot better, and Jason would have to literally, if let's just say I pick, I don't know, let's just say Wade Roberts wins out of Flip and Wade would say, if he's on the team, he's on the team. Now Jason says, okay, well, I want to pull Wade to see if he's better than me to be on the team.
Right.
And they would go at it, and whoever wins that, which that would be the qualifier to come on the team.
There's a lot of investors to be on this team because, and you also got to realize too, because Deborah also asked, hey, they got to pay to come back on the team. And I'll touch that base before we get to our next question about South Florida. So the expenses, right? Because you said, hey, let's just say I'm trying to get on the team. Oh, Steve, I want to go on the team, man. Well, Jody, you know what you got to do. Like, all right, I got you. Just tell me who I got to pull. I got my 100. I got my 100 right here. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and do this. And, that $100, win, lose, or draw, is going back into the pot because that goes to the expenses.
That would pay pretty much for part of their ticket or their ticket to fly. Because the only thing that they're paying for, the competitors, are the tickets. That's the only thing they pay for. Because they don't pay for a party bus. I got that. They don't pay for the mansion. I got that. So all they're paying for is for their way out there. So let's just say, for instance, Wade and him, they go up in there, they spend $100 to come back on the team. Jason already has part of his ticket that he spent $100 on to come back on the team to fly out there. Let's say the plane ticket's $200 to go to Florida. He's already got half his ticket paid for. All he does is pay for another $100 to go, and that's it.
Oh, okay. So, like, basically, if I were to beat somebody, then it's like, okay, here's my $100. Well, that'll go toward, whatever. Oh, okay. So there is some incentive. Okay, I get that.
Yeah. So you're putting up your money for yourself to be on this team to travel out there again. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the other question Deborah had was that, can you do it in South Florida? And Deborah, I'm gonna let Steve answer that because I don't know. Like you'll probably have a better answer on the next show, which will be after this one, when he gets together with Mike Olivia, and Ryan Gronin, because Mike lives in the Florida area, and I'm sure Mike and Steve will be putting their heads together trying to figure out a spot. So I'm sure, I don't know if you have an answer yet, but I'm sure after you and Mike talk, you'll have a better, idea where you want to have. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm sure me and Mike will talk if he agrees, that he does want to do this and do this together and stuff, which I think would be great. Doing that, not only there, but also I'm looking at places, whether it's in Orlando or Miami. So it's really depending on where's the best, place to do it at too. Not just, so if we can find each other in some place, if it's an hour away, that's not a big deal. So it's depending on where we get the best venue and where we can meet at the best spot, where the best mansions are. That's, you want to film at the best places. Really. That's what it is.
Right. And, here's a word we just talked about, $100. Starts with the letter R. Refund. Because the question is, what if they don't beat them? So let's just say me and Rico are pulling, to get on the team and stuff. If Rico beats me and I already put my 100 in, is my 100 gone? I'm assuming that's what Deborah's saying. I don't want to, insinuate. So Deborah, let us know. Is that what you mean? If someone's pulling to get on the team and they both have $100, then does that $100 stay with the team, or how does that work out? If I lose,
that $100, whatever, let's just say both guys have put up $100 up to pull each other, right? That's what they have to do. That $100, let's just say Jason loses, right? And Wade wins. Those $200 goes towards the plane tickets that we're going to be flying out to Florida or Michigan or wherever we're going to. So there's no refunds. You're putting your money up to bet to see if you can beat somebody on the team. That's what you're putting your money into. You know what I mean? That's what you're trying. That's what you're doing. You're betting on yourself so you can come back on the team. Now, if you are not, if you don't have if you don't think you're going to win, you know what I mean? Then obviously it's a completely different story. Don't bet any money. Don't even try. But you're obviously going there to bet money, to thinking, to knowing you're confident enough that you're going to be back on the team.
Well, I'll take it a step further. If you think you're not going to win, you probably shouldn't be pulling on the team in the first place. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Am I wrong by saying that?
You're right. 100% right.
Okay. So in other words, Deborah, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way. It's almost like if you're pulling a super match anyway, right? Like, hey, we pulling for $100, you and me. If I lose, I don't get my money back. I fucking lost. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just another way of doing it. It's just it has some incentive behind that if you win.
Oh yeah, of course, because not only are you winning $100 or your money to go back into traveling expenses or whatever it is, but you're going to be traveling with the guys from New York Tri-State Arm Wrestling on a party bus, going to a mansion to either Miami Beach or Florida to go out there for 3 to 4 days. And ask any one of these guys how good of a time they had every single day, waking up, everybody was cooking bacon, cheese outside, gorgeous sights, jacuzzis, fire pits. I mean, it's just, what are we talking about here? I mean, like, it's, you could, once I post everything up, because I'm waiting for Jen to finish up with all the stuff, and as soon as she does, I'm going to be blasting, putting all photos and videos, and everybody could see what we were all about and what we were doing. and you can see it on the live stream too. But photos, even in the videos, it doesn't do it justice. You have to be there to actually see how great of a beautiful place Montana was too. You know what I mean? So
there it is. Montana. Now you go to Florida. It's going to be awesome. And you don't have an exact date yet, but tell everybody get in the chat where the range of, where you're looking at.
May, June, Florida, either Miami or Orlando, around there, to see if we can do it over there. And around that time is what I'm trying to think. Is just so we can have everything set and done and have enough time to really have a crew. I already spoke to actually the camera crew and everything else with Robert Kelly. I wanted to solidify and have them, permanently, so we know that we would be able to do something with them. And he's all in. I already spoke to him actually today. And he's the one that actually did East vs. West 14. So he's a phenomenal production. And it's going to be even better than what we did in Montana. Same thing with the walkouts, the point system, the pictures, the measuring of the biceps. And I'm going to go a step even further, and do a couple of different measurements on their wrists, all the way from the elbow to their hand, biceps, the whole thing, so they can see how big they are and bring it a little bit more step professionally, so people can see that.
There you have it. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna keep you too much. I know you got 2 more shows tonight, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one loose because I know you got to prepare. What time are you going on with Mikey and Ryan?
I think it's 7 o'clock tonight, and then 9:30 again with Paul Talia. Okay,
cool. So I'm gonna let you go ahead because I know you got a lot. You probably need a bathroom break. Damn, so. So, oh damn! I can't believe I said that. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. Go prep for your next show and get prepared and ready. Probably get a bite to eat right quick and go ahead and do this over. And then you got another one later tonight. So my man Steve, I like it. This might be the new thing because we've all done this in practices within our own state. But now it's just this is putting on the forefront, So when you got California, they got the North versus South because the state goes like this. So you got Northern California versus Southern California. You meet halfway or wherever, that kind of stuff. You got you guys, you got the tri-states on the road. Hey, we're going to come into a state near you. Get your best. We're going to bring our best. You got that going on. So I think this is something new, and I like that. It's a breath of fresh air. It's a shot in the arm that we need because sometimes, with our elite guys going overseas, whatnot, or them coming here being wrapped up in the bigger giant events, which is good. Don't get me wrong, but them ain't the only people arm wrestling. We got a lot of tons of arm wrestlers who are not at the elite level that still want to sit there that can bang with the best of them and stuff. Why not give them a platform? And I'm all for that kind of stuff. And so you guys doing that, Bill Collins and the crew down in California doing their thing. I like that. I'm sure other states will catch on and probably have their own thing. Border wars, I've heard, is a good thing. So, my man, you're doing great things, man. And as I say, people, it's the first ever edition. So I'm sure the camera work will get better. I would imagine the referees will get better. So remember, the second one will be better than the first, and the third will be better than the second, and so on and so on.
Absolutely. If you're going to be going anywhere to Montana, go to Montana Armbending Championships, and that's with Joshua Wilson. He does absolutely phenomenal work. He's a great person. Same production team is going to be with Robert Kelly too as well. I think it's Red Lightning Productions or Studios. So they do phenomenal work for, like I said, Montana Armbending Championships. He does great work. He's an actual true arm wrestler, putting a great show on in Montana. So if you're going down there, go see him.
There you go. My man, thank you for coming on again. And, hey, we'll talk soon. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely talks. And I think we're talking every week now. So
exactly, man. See, we talk every week and we live on opposite sides of the country. See how that works out?
We'll see each other soon, though. I could just tell right now we're going to be seeing each other soon. Maybe Tri-State shooting over there soon.
Hey, yeah. I'm going to see your boy this weekend, Paul Cruz. So I'm going to see him.
I know. You guys going to the World Series, right? World Series.
Yeah. So we're going to sit there. We're going to chop it up while we down there and stuff, man. So I'm excited, man. So, my man, thank you very much. I'm going to let you go now so you can go ahead and get ready for your next interview, man.
Not a problem, man. Thank you so much for letting me on the show, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir, man. Take care.
I'll see you, bud.
Take care.